I'm upset. No disrespect, respectfully. But disrespectfully is disrespect. Don't be disrespectful. Those vile, disgusting Spartans. Poor little bro, man. And I'm gonna tell him why I'm mad. That vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus. The other state, and of course, as always, I'm upset. Good evening, good people. Welcome to another episode 18 to be exact, of the Maize Blue and Gold Show. I am the Maize Madman. That is Ryan Fravel. Ryan, what's up?
Not much, man. How about you?
I'm doing swell, sir. Ryan Graham Mertz for Heisman Fravel.
Nah, that was for our ACC, or no. We're doing our top quarterbacks in each conference, ranking quarterbacks by conference, and
okay.
You know how we do our little names before each show, and at the time, I was like Graham Mertz for Heisman because Graham Mertz, man, he's the best quarterback in college football, man. I definitely don't mean that.
He was here early.
Hey.
He was here early.
But hey, yeah, Graham Mertz is that dude.
All right, so speaking of, we got some things to talk about today. I want to talk about. Actually, I want to give our. I think we did this in a previous show, but top 5 Heisman candidates. We're gonna go over that, but you've got some exciting news because there's some elite level players visiting the Irish for their barbecue, the grill and chill, as they call it. Of course, there's some elite level talent visiting Ann Arbor for the annual barbecue at the Big House. We're going to talk about that.
Now,
but first,
really quick, Phil, because we're both having cookouts. We gotta figure out what they're having at the cookouts, and we gotta figure out who's got having the best food at the cookout.
The disrespect. This is a disrespectful comment. Drew Smith, don't get blocked.
But not like seriously, like because I heard a couple years ago when Notre Dame did this, the recruits said they had a good time, but the food was kind of
Yeah.
So we got to make sure that we know what's being made there, and we got to know who's having the better cookout.
So definitely Michigan's having the better cookout. I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
First of all, Jim Harbaugh only believes in steak. Right? Nothing else is gonna be on that grill. You might get a wiener or two, but definitely no poultry, just beef and milk. Although milk is not served at the barbecue, I'm just saying that's what Jim Harbaugh does. It's all beef all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan's cookout is always top notch. That's right, Seth. You tell them. We're gonna have T-bones on there, some New York strips on there. Some fillet mignon is going to be on the menu. It's going to be crazy. So definitely Michigan. People in Indiana can't cook anyway. So let's just start there.
No, we're having hot dogs and burgers. So
hot dogs and burgers. There you go. Right. those pre-patty burgers, like not even like
exactly
English beef ones either. The one
we're gonna go to Meijer and just get some of that. Go to
Myers, man. I haven't heard that in so long. Myers is like Walmart for those not in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Here on the East Coast, we don't have a Myers. But yeah.
It might be a little step up from Walmart. Just a little bit.
It's okay. As a kid, it's all right. It's all right. As a kid though, I used to love going to Myers. I'll be honest with you. But yeah, Myers is a great place. Now, the first things first, I got to get this out the way. Michigan missed on 4-star wide receiver out of Providence Day School and teammate of now 4-star quarterback Jaden Davis and 4-star or 3-star, depending on what service, wide receiver Chandler Goodwin. He's a teammate of both of them. Both of them have committed to Michigan. Jordan Shipp chose to go to UNC. This came as a shock to some. You may remember last week on the show, I actually spoke about UNC being a threat to the Wolverines for this commitment. Obviously, they were more of a threat even than I could imagine, and they got Jordan Shipp. This just goes to show that momentum is a real thing in recruiting. Ryan, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I definitely agree. Although I will say I did not see it coming. I thought Jordan Shipp was kind of a lock to Michigan. From everything I've seen and everything that I've heard from you specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, just a week ago or sometime this week when
it was all good.
Ohio State got a wide receiver commit. Can't remember who it was. Or Ohio State got somebody. And anytime Ohio State or Michigan gets somebody, you always see Michigan and Ohio State fans in the comments down below, going at it. And I remember tons of Michigan fans, hey, we're getting Jordan Shipp. Jordan Shipp clears. Jordan Shipp's better. And yeah, Jordan Shipp might be better, but he's wearing that North Carolina Tar Heel blue instead of the good old maize and blue, which shocked me. And I'm sure it shocked Go Blue Nation a lot too.
Yeah. So let me know what you think about this. What is Michigan looking like at wide receiver in the 2024 class? It's looking dire. Okay, it's barren. It's a desert. It's a wide receiver desert in Ann Arbor.
You guys got a bare cabinet right now.
We did get 2 wide receivers. We did get Channing Goodwin, and we got Amarian Stewart out of.
What's it looking like with Ryan Wingo?
Is this a trick question? What are you trying to get us flustered here? Ryan Wingo actually did say he was going to give Michigan a long look, but he has set up 2 more visits he's going to Tennessee and to Texas A&M. He's been to Texas A&M now a few times, so obviously he likes them. If Michigan can get him back during the season, that would go a long way. But if he decides before the season, I don't think Michigan's in contention.
Yeah, funny story about
Seth
Ryan
says,
Wingo.
what's the turnoff? The turnoff is obvious, Seth. We don't pass to this point. We haven't passed the ball enough to excite a wide receiver or even a quarterback. We are lucky to have Jaden Davis. Hopefully moving forward, the idea is that Sharon Moore is going to open up the offense a little more this season. We have targets, right? One of my hot takes, actually, that we are going to give, me and Ryan are going to give 5 hot takes today. One of mine is that Roman Wilson will be a 1,000-yard receiver this year. So there's that. Other than that, though, you have to show these receivers and these quarterbacks who want to throw and who want to catch that, your offense can produce 1,000-yard receivers and 40-yard touchdown throwing quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm right now, Notre Dame receiving recruiting has actually been one of the key parts of the last 2 years for Notre Dame. So I can't say Notre Dame's had too much of an issue with receiver. We got an elite receiver in Cam Williams, who's a 5-star for 247 for next year. So I'm excited about that. We got Micah Gilbert, who committed to us over you guys. He's a top 200 recruit. So we got Isaiah Kanian was a top 100 recruit. He decommitted and committed to Georgia Tech because he wanted to stay closer to home. So yeah, we're looking for that third receiver. And I've heard rumors, which I don't know if I told you this, Phil. Notre Dame's trying to get back in with Jeremiah McClellan and Ryan Wingo, 2 guys who a year ago Notre Dame looked to be the team to beat for. So Ryan Wingo has been in contact with Coach Freeman. We didn't make his top 5, but Ryan Wingo has expressed some interest in getting back to Notre Dame. So we'll see. If I know Ryan Wingo, didn't he say recently that he's going to drag this thing out till December?
Which is great for us.
Yes.
And obviously good news for you too, if you can get back in there. So yeah, Ryan Wingo is obviously still a target for Michigan. There are other targets out there for Michigan too. We can't forget about Gatlin Bear.
Yep.
That's a big one, and I think Michigan's right there, top 2 for him. So, we'll keep you posted on what's going on for sure. Moving on though, who are some of the targets, if you will, that will be visiting for the Grill and Chill in South Bend?
So one of the biggest guys is Davion Dixon. He was our first commit in the 2025 class. He's a 4-star defensive lineman out of Miami, Jesuit, Florida. He's a big guy. He's going to be like kind of that leader in the class for so far, along with Nate Roberts, who is I believe he's the number 2 tight end in the 2025 class, and he's a top 50 recruit. Those are both our 2025 commits right now that we have. They're going to be there visiting for the cookout. Deuce Knight, who is the number 3 ranked quarterback in the 2025 class, is going to be visiting as well. It sounds like he's going to be there for quite a bit. I think it's 3 days. He's going to come in on the 27th, leave on the 31st. So that's gonna be a big deal. It sounds like if Notre Dame can have a good visit, then that Deuce Knight might pop a commitment, which would be huge for the 25 class. Especially right now with his top 2, I think, being Notre Dame and Tennessee. Tennessee's not going after him as their top target. They're going after George McIntyre. So I think Deuce Knight will feel that, hey, like Notre Dame wants me more than Tennessee does. And I think that might be enough. But other than that, then we got Taylor Taylor. He's coming for the cookout. He's a top 50 wide receiver for next year. Everything points that he could be a Notre Dame lock. Then you got Justin Thurman, who's a top 200 running back. He's out of Missouri, so he's best friends with Kyron Williams, former Notre Dame running back, best friends with Jeremiah Love.
Right.
Evidently, he works out with the same trainer that Jeremiah Love and Kyron Williams worked out with. So that seems like he's going to just pop to Notre Dame at some point. So things are looking really good for 2025 in terms of Notre Dame recruiting. Like I said before last show, Notre Dame's basically done with 2024 with the exception of maybe Garby Lambert. That looks like that's going to happen. KVA makes his decision in 3 days, but we'll see what happens with that. And then who knows with Justin Scott. But outside of those 3 guys and then maybe Caleb Beasley down the line, if we can flip him from Tennessee, 2024 is done. So, but overall, I'm looking forward to the cookout. Notre Dame could possibly get 2 commitments from 2 elite guys in the 2025 class. I would be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, like these barbecues, both for Notre Dame and for Michigan and other schools around the country, are really for like looking ahead to like 2025, right? So right now they're recruiting for the 2024 classes. There will be 2024 recruits on deck for some of these barbecues, but for the most part, they're trying to make impressions for 2025, and that's why you hear Ryan talking about guys in the 2025 class. Much of the same for Michigan's barbecue at the Big House. A couple Michigan commits. Chris Yule will be on hand. That's really big. He's a 4-star corner out of Florida. So that's really big because, obviously getting guys out of that portion of the country, having him already committed and on deck to help recruit other guys is massive. 5-star and number 1 player in the country in 2025, David Saunders, is expected to be at the barbecue. He's an offensive tackle. In fact, he is the offensive tackle for Jaden Davis right now at Providence Day School, which is massive. If Michigan can get him and lock him in, that would be huge. Jerome Moore, I'm sure, is all over that. So Michigan has its own elite level talent visiting for the barbecue at the Big House. Still unsure about if Bryce Underwood will make that trip, although it does make sense for him too.
I believe I saw something where he's going to be visiting Bama for something that weekend,
which sucks. and he should reconsider. But we'll just leave it at that. But definitely going to be some high level talent at both Notre Dame and Michigan's cookouts. Michigan will also have like Justin Baker, I believe, running back out of Georgia on tap. Nathaniel Marshall out of Illinois, 2025 four-star linebacker or lineman. I'm sorry, defensive lineman. So it should be a great weekend for Michigan as well. If I had to predict any commitments, I won't. I actually won't predict any commitments for the barbecue at the Big House, but it should be a good day for Michigan. I'll just say that. Let's go to the comments, see what
I want to hear. I want to see
people are
what
talking about.
Pull up that comment by Drew Smith really quick. Both of those OSU locks. Who are you talking about? I'd like to know. If you could put in the comments, let us know. Drew.
Both are OSU locks. What? Who are you speaking of, Drew?
But
Bryce has a room already.
the interesting thing about Bryce Underwood, and it's hilarious because you got the top 3 quarterbacks in the class: Bryce Underwood, George McIntyre, and Deuce Knight.
Right.
The way it's shaping up for their recruitments is so good for Notre Dame, and here's why. Bryce Underwood's very high on Alabama.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's Alabama's top prospect is Bryce Underwood. And we know how Alabama likes to drop the NIL money. So what I'm rooting for right now, and this is not a knock to Michigan, I'm hoping Bryce Underwood goes to Alabama. George McIntyre then goes to Tennessee. And then that leaves, Drew Knight with like, oh, I got nowhere else to go, so I'm going to go to Notre Dame because they actually want me. Just Michigan needs to stay away. You better stay away from Deuce Knight. You better stay away.
To be fair, I haven't heard about Michigan and Deuce Knight. But I mean, I'm sure he's on the radar there. The thing is, I don't. What is Mike? Bryce Underwood is scheduled to make his decision on January 6th, I believe, which is like a big day for him personally.
He's already scheduled that?
Yeah, he's already scheduled to make that decision.
So
right?
He's going to do the second national signing day then.
Well, he can't sign. I mean, he's a 2025 recruit, so it'll be.
Oh yeah, never mind.
He's just gonna commit, which is big because I think in most cases you want a quarterback to commit early because they really help, bring in the other recruits for the class, especially a big fish like Bryce Underwood. Wherever he decides to go, that's gonna be, seismic for whatever team that is, whatever university that is lucky enough to get his commitment.
If it sticks.
Absolutely.
Because, the thing is also, I didn't even think about this. Bryce Underwood commits to Alabama. People forget Alabama had 2 top 10 quarterbacks commit in their class last year.
I don't think he's committing to Alabama. I'm going to be honest with you.
Dude, that quarterback room is insane. They have 6 quarterbacks that were all top 10, 5 stars, and none of them have proven that they're good enough to start. That's insane.
Bryce, NIL kid. This is a great question. The answer is I don't know. There hasn't been too much chatter about it. Although somebody of that stature, right? He's the apple of everybody's eye. I'm sure he wants to be compensated in some way. So I'm not going to be naive enough to believe that, it doesn't matter at all. But we'll see what level of how much it matters going forward. By the way, Michael, Dallas fan in DC, Campbell is telling you guys correctly. Hit the like button on both channels. Make sure you subscribe to both channels and share the live. We really appreciate it. It really helps both channels grow. Chris says, no, he's not for NIL. He's been to Michigan 78 times. He ain't going to Alabama. That's for sure. I don't think Alabama is going to get Bryce Underwood, but stranger things have happened.
Who are some of his contenders right now?
It is LSU. I think LSU is a bigger threat than Alabama, really? If I'm being honest. Okay. Yeah. LSU, he's really high on LSU. Ohio State, the other state, Alabama, and of course, Michigan. There is one other I can't think of right now. Maybe, no. Yeah, I think that's it right now.
I'd rather him go to Michigan over Ohio State and Bama personally, but
you'd rather him go to Michigan.
Yeah, I'd rather because I don't know. I'd rather not hear about another 5-star quarterback going to Ohio State or Bama. I think they've got enough of those.
Melo says he didn't think Ohio State wants him.
Hey, you guys missed out on Dylan
More
Raiola.
power to
So.
him. You know
They got all the 5-star receivers.
Right.
Hey, maybe them 5-star receivers could play quarterback too.
Yeah. So did you see Notre Dame's position group rankings according to Phil Still?
No, I did not.
Okay. I didn't happen to see theirs either, but I did see Michigan's. And he has Michigan's running back group as number 1 in the country. No argument here. I actually believe that full-heartedly. There's no bias there. I actually believe we have the best running back group in the country. Number 2, though, he had Michigan's offensive line as the number 2 group in the country. Maybe some argument there. He had Georgia as the best offensive line in the country. Even, Notre Dame probably has an argument here for offensive line, at least Joe Alt and the other tackle.
Blake Fisher.
They're short things. What do you think about the rest of your offensive line?
The offensive line is – so our 2 tackles are both projected first-round picks for next year. So that, to me, I think solidifies that Notre Dame has the best offensive line in college football. The guard positions in the center they're not up to that same level, but they're typical Notre Dame standard offensive linemen where they're above average. They're
Right.
just elite. But when you have 2 elite tackles, I think that's kind of enough to have just above average offensive linemen around them. You know what I mean? Because the tackle spots are the most important position on the line.
No, Melo. Watch out now. Watch it.
Did he really say Aaron Nolan? CJ Carr is better than Aaron Nolan. That kid who's committed to Texas Tech that almost won the Elite 11 is better than Aaron Nolan. Ethan Grunkemeyer might be better than Aaron Nolan.
Man, is that the kid that's going to Penn State?
Yes.
The 3-star? Whatever.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure it's probably gone up now. I
think he's a top 10 quarterback now.
Yeah, he performed pretty well, so it should go up. I'm not mad at that. Aaron Nolan better than Jaden Davis? Come on, man. I want you to stop it.
Wasn't Aaron Nolan was he a top 10 quarterback in the class?
I think he is. I think he's like number 4 or 5, something like that. He might be high. OSU's 3rd choice. Look, it doesn't matter where we are. We can't help ourselves. OSU and Michigan fans are at it in the comment section. Ryan, let me get your thoughts on this. If you had to come up with the top 5 programs in the country right now, what would they be? How would you rank them 1 through 5 right now?
Just a preseason ranking?
Preseason ranking, yeah.
Georgia, Ohio State, or no. Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Bama, and then if I had to go 5,
LSU.
No, Tennessee. Tennessee. I put Tennessee there. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm very high on Tennessee. Very high.
Man, I don't know, bro. I think you think Ohio State right now with questions at quarterback, and I only say I'm not questioning whether these guys have good talent. I'm just they've not played any game, no real games, right? They are better than, and I guess the same could be said for Alabama. So I'm not even going to mention that, right? I was going to say, are they better than?
Yeah. So I know Mello in the comments saying LSU is better than. I don't believe that. I think LSU had a good caught Bama. I believe wasn't that game at LSU at night. So I mean how they do that with bookkeeping is that's a 3-point advantage anyway because of being at home. I think if that game was at Alabama, LSU gets trounced. But Because like I this is where I'm not as high in LSU. LSU was the same team that got absolutely dog walked in their home stadium against Tennessee. Like people forget that they
Every
lost
team
by
is
40
different.
points. They lost by 40 points to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you can overlook that just because they beat Bama by a point at home in overtime.
Right. No, I get what you're saying. However, it's not like Bama had the opportunity just like Tennessee to come in there and beat them by 40. They couldn't. Right?
I think also Bama had a really hard schedule last year. I mean, they played at Tennessee, at LSU. It was just I think that they caught teams in a bad spot. But also,
Right.
like people forget that LSU struggled against an Arkansas team. I think they
They
had
did.
Jaden Daniels. They put up 7 offensive points. Because I'm not going to count the 2 field goals because
Right.
they got those on turnovers. But people forget also the day before the game after the Alabama game, they played at Arkansas.
Right.
And I think it was like a middle of the day game. Arkansas was without KJ Jefferson, who, for college football
I
fans, we
get it.
understand KJ
I get
Jefferson
it.
is one of the best quarterbacks in college football. And they beat Arkansas 13-10. I
Yeah.
mean, that's really bad.
Now let me ask you though. Let me ask you. They did squeak by Arkansas. However, they're coming off, like you just said, they're coming off beating Alabama. That's a big deal for them. Playing Arkansas without,
KJ
their best
Jefferson.
player, right, is a letdown. It's they played down to the competition that day. I would argue rather than, it was a close game. It was a close game, but I'm just saying it's more likely that they played down to the competition than Arkansas should be on the same field with them that day.
Yeah, but I just look at it like if they have KJ Jefferson that game, they probably win. And we're not sitting here talking about LSU. If
Right.
that's what I'm saying.
I get it.
Okay, this is how I look at LSU.
Alabama
LSU,
struggled with Texas A&M.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Notre Dame and LSU had the same record. They both finished the year 9-4. Actually, I think LSU went 10-4 because they played that extra game.
Okay.
But basically the same record in terms of losses. Why is LSU a top 5 team and Notre Dame's not? When you look at their schedule, and Notre Dame blew out a top 10 team in Clemson.
Right.
And Alabama, because think about it, Notre Dame had more top 25 wins than LSU did. But LSU's a top 5 team because they beat Alabama at home by a point. Like it's the same. Like I'm not saying I'm not sitting here saying Notre Dame's a top 10 team because I don't think they're a top 10 team right now.
You don't think they're a top 10?
No, I think I have Notre Dame in that like 11, 12, 13 range.
Look at this blasphemy here.
That's not true.
Boat race us in Ann Arbor this year? Come on, man. Come on, man.
No, Notre Dame is not a top 10 team. Notre Dame to me is that 11, 12 range. And that's kind of where I would have LSU. I would have LSU outside the top 10, maybe that 11, 12, 13.
Right.
I think it's Notre Dame, Washington, LSU, like for that 11, not like in that order, but just like in that grouping, right outside the top 10.
Right. So this may be true, right? However, this is a different time.
Michigan didn't have Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards, and also didn't have
JJ McCarthy.
Yes.
Like, come on, bro. We're out there with I hate that guy. I hate to even say his name. I hate him so much.
Let me ask Mel a question.
Patterson.
And Drew, because I know they're both Ohio State fans.
Right.
This is the test. This is how we'll know if they're delusional Ohio State fans, which some of the stuff they're saying is making it a little questionable right now. Do you guys agree with your fellow Ohio State fans on Twitter that what's his name? Who's the quarterback now? Why am I blanking on this?
Devin Brown or
the other one?
Kyle McCord?
Kyle McCord. Melo and Drew Smith, do you guys really think, do you guys agree with your fellow Ohio State fans on Twitter that Kyle McCord is already a top 5 quarterback in college football and is already better than CJ Stroud? I need to know that in the comments. That is your test right now. If you guys say that he is already a top 5 quarterback right now and is better than CJ Stroud, you guys have lost your damn mind.
They are comparable to MSU fans, no footing, just shooting in the air. Say it again, Seth. Say it again. No, but he can still be great under Day and those weapons. Okay, man.
Yeah, okay, I agree. He could.
This is so funny.
He could still be great. But like I'm just saying he's not better than CJ Stroud.
He's not. And it's not even close. I don't it's nonsense. And I don't even want to entertain this. The second thing is this. Speaking of teams who struggled with other teams, the other state took themselves to Northwestern last year and had to fight with everything they had to get out of there with a win against a team that won one game, right?
Yeah.
And that team that won one game actually outgained you in that game. It's unbelievable the level that you think you're on. Look, he's not. I'm not trying to hear the Northwestern. It's not. It happened. It happened.
It happened. Right? It happened.
I didn't make that up. I didn't.
But Ohio State fans will say, "Well, we played in a rainstorm."
Bro, you play football in the Big Ten. You understand that inclement weather is a thing there, right? Like you don't play in Southern California.
Well, no. You're
Columbus isn't situated in Miami, right? It's not Southern Florida.
Phil, you're forgetting though. These kids a lot of these 5-star kids are from Florida and California, so they don't like the cold weather.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Don't recruit them to your school then. Because you're going to play in cold weather, right? It's not going to be sunny every day. Although even when it's sunny and a nice day, not a cloud in the sky, we proved that you guys still can get dominated. That's what happened.
And I don't get why Ohio State fans are so they're kind of like how Bama fans are they think that a 10-2 season is bad. Was it Ohio State fans? I bet you if they go 10-2 this year with losses to Notre Dame and Michigan, will call for Ryan Day to be fired. Because how I look at it is you guys just had CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud was one of the best college football quarterbacks you guys have ever had. I think he's that good. I've seen the guy play tons.
This is funny.
That's not going to happen. We're probably going to beat you guys by 14.
He's like, yo, whatever. We're going to beat the brakes off Notre Dame.
But anyway, the thing is, you guys just lost CJ Stroud, who's a generational talent. He was he's a top 5 pick. And you have two guys, whoever starts, they're both unproven. Okay?
Right.
And the fact that you guys lost JSN, who I think is still really freaking good, even though he didn't play a lot of the year.
Right.
And, your defense is trash. Your defense is just hot garbage. And you guys proved last year when you guys played Michigan that you guys aren't tough enough. Michigan manhandled you guys in your place, in your house. So, and I could argue your team got worse. With the exception of Marvin Harrison Jr., your team got worse. So, me saying you guys go 9-3 or 10-2,
50 levels of crap.
Hold on. No. Dude, your team got worse. and you've got to play on the road at Notre Dame, who got better. Let me say this right now. If Notre Dame had Sam Hartman last year, we would have blown you guys out. That's what I'm saying. Like, we would have blown you guys out if we had Sam Hartman last year.
Ryan.
We held you guys to, 17 points? CJ Stroud and that explosive offense and all them 5-star receivers, 17 points.
I'm saying this is a horrible take.
You guys out on the
but
water.
Bro, you have to bump the brakes a little bit.
Okay. Anyway, you guys are going to go 9-3. So let's pump the brakes here. Let's pump the brakes.
Okay.
9-3 or 10-2 for Ohio State next year. That's not a bad year. That's a good rebuilding year for you guys.
It's a good rebuilding year. So let me ask in the comment section. Let us know. Drew, Mello, you are welcome to comment as well. Is this a rebuilding year for the other state, or do you expect to be right in the thick of things in terms of the national title picture again this year? What do you think? Everybody, let's talk about it. Is Ryan Day and the other state, are they rebuilding, or are they right in the thick of it with the best teams in the nation right now?
Phil, seriously, I don't get why Ohio State fans are so confident. I remember, because I was on Twitter a lot, and I pay attention to a lot of Ohio State people.
Yeah. We're winning it.
Like, when we were playing that game, going, and we were getting ready to go in the fourth quarter, and Notre Dame had the lead on Ohio State.
Yeah.
You know how much Ohio State fans were freaking out on Twitter? Like, we're going to lose to Notre Dame. Oh, my God, this is embarrassing. They had a whole space about it where they were talking about firing Ryan Day.
Man, I do look. We beat them last year, and immediately the narrative was that Ryan Day needed to go. Right, he's lost 2 to Michigan he's lost 2 in a row to Michigan. The latest one being in Columbus in embarrassing fashion, and they were screaming about Ryan Day has to go. And this is their fan base, not mine, not yours, right? These are their people on Twitter. And those same people, right, because we have kept the receipts, because people have favored it and retweeted those tweets from a year ago, those same people now are like, oh, Ryan Day is, he's freaking the Dalai Lama. He can't be touched. He's untouchable. He can lose again to Michigan. He won't be touched. I guarantee if he loses this year, if they go to Ann Arbor and he doesn't come back with a W, he's on the hottest of hot seats.
Oh, what if he loses to Notre Dame?
That's what I was about to get to that. If he loses to Notre Dame this year, right, early in the season, then goes to Ann Arbor and loses, the seat might explode. It's going to be so hot.
Let me ask you, Phil, like this, because you're a Michigan fan. So, like, as us a Notre Dame and Michigan fans, we don't look at 10-2 as like, man, that's a terrible year. Like, most of the time, like Notre Dame and Michigan fans, if you ask us if we 10-2, like most years we'd take that, right? We would take 10-2. Okay. Right. Like, I don't understand how Ohio State fans can feel confident going on the road at Notre Dame at night in a green out. Notre Dame's going to be doing the green out again that we did against Clemson, and actually wearing the green jerseys this time. With an unproven quarterback who at that point will only have played Youngstown State and Western Kentucky, 2 really hard teams, man. Those teams are really good. And then you got to go on the road under the lights and play a really good team that has Sam Hartman, who is going to obliterate that defense. I mean, if J.J. McCarthy obliterated that defense. Like, and I'll take this. Trust me, Phil, I don't know if we're doing it this year, but we need to. After big games for Michigan and Notre Dame, we need to do a show right after. Because if we are wrong, I will sit up here. Mello, trust me, dude. If you guys come into Notre Dame Stadium and you guys beat Notre Dame, I will come on this show and I will sing your praises and I will admit I'm wrong. But it's not happening. It's not happening.
So let me ask you this, Ryan. Mello tends to think that that's going to be a majority Buckeye crowd
No,
in South
Notre Dame
Bend.
fans are actually
What do you
buying
think?
Ohio State tickets.
Mm.
Like, there are a lot of Notre Dame fans. There's like a petition, like a couple thousand Notre Dame fans, because like I think Ohio State only gets a percentage of the tickets. Notre Dame fans are going on the Ohio State website to buy their share of tickets so that there's not as many Ohio State fans.
Wisconsin, man, this Wisconsin take, and Mike's been high on this Wisconsin take.
I'm not.
I am not
on
as high
Wisconsin.
on Wisconsin as you are. I just don't believe it. And it's not like they got the talent to do it. I get the coach is good. He's got some guys. He got some portal guys, but not this year. It's not. This isn't the year. I think Nebraska is much closer to this than Wisconsin. I think Iowa is even closer to that
So,
than both of them.
really quick, Drew and Mello, let's make a bet right now. Okay.
Oh man, don't do this, Ryan.
So here's the bet, because they're talking about in the comments, if Notre Dame loses, I have to dress up as Brutus.
I'm upset. That's my
Okay.
guy, Ken. What's going on, Ken?
If Notre Dame loses, I will dress up as Brutus on this show. I will get a Brutus costume or a headpiece, and I will do that. Okay?
Don't do this.
But if Notre Dame wins, we need to get a picture of Mello for the stream. We need a picture of Mello and Drew wearing a leprechaun costume. We need it.
Oh my God.
That's
don't
the
do
bet.
This.
That's the bet. And we're going to keep
this.
the receipts. Yes.
Don't do this.
I'm doing it.
If you come up here and Brutus, man,
hey.
It's going to be bro, I'm telling you, first of all, when can we expect, because you're going to have to order a Brutus costume, right? So when do it's not like you're going to be able to get that right after the game.
I will order one a couple weeks before the game. That way I have it.
And what's Mello if the other state loses? What does he have to do?
Yeah, him and Drew have to wear leprechaun costumes and send pictures to you on Twitter.
Oh,
all right, bet. Shake, virtually shake on
virtual hand, virtual pound. Oh man, I wish you didn't do this. I don't want you to do
Hey, you know.
Hold up. He gonna get this work.
Go get this. Come on, man. I wish you didn't do that.
You're not confident in Notre Dame beating Ohio State?
I'm not. Like I told you, I wish both of you could lose, but I don't want you to do this.
Why?
Oh my God.
You know how funny this would be? That's going to be? And did you hear what he said? He said, man, I'm a 6'4" black man. You can't do that to me, making me wear a leprechaun costume.
Oh my God, man.
Hey, and you know what, Mello? Also, just to go with it, you got to get you some Lucky Charms. That's what you...
Here we go. I'll dress up as a leprechaun from the 80s.
Okay, either way, that works. That works. As long as you guys dress up as leprechauns and send pictures of proof. That's the bet right there.
My guy Seth says Ohio State, the other state, those Buckeyes, 10-2 is their new norm. You might be able to get a couple, but I don't see the other state beating Michigan in the foreseeable future.
See, a lot of Michigan fans think Notre Dame's going to beat Ohio State. I've seen a lot of Michigan.
I'm not saying that they're not. I'm not saying that they won't. I'm saying I don't want this for you.
Hey, what do you mean? If we win, I get to see them.
You're right.
Leprechaun suit, man.
And I can't wait to see Drew and Mello in leprechaun suits. Right? I hope it happens. You know.
Oh,
look, he said they're. I'm hoping, right? I hope things happen for you, Ryan. Right?
I'm not hoping. I'm confident. I'm confident.
We wish kind of guys.
You know what? Actually, you know what I'm going to do, Phil? When the lines come out for that game, which should be within the next month.
Damn it, Mike Ford even says he thinks damn it, man.
So Phil, when do you think the lines come out for that game?
Man, they should be coming soon, right?
Because I will go put
at least a couple weeks,
go
2 weeks before the game.
I'm gonna go bet $1,000 on that. I am hammering the
What do you think it's gonna be? What do you think? It depends on what that what do you think?
I
It's
think
4 to
it'll
1?
probably be Notre Dame
3 to 1.
It'll probably be Notre Dame favored -1, I would imagine.
Notre Dame favored?
Because it's at home. So I think if it was at Ohio State, it'd be minus. The teams are a lot closer than they were last year.
I agree with that. I agree. I do think that they are closer than they were last year at betting time. He said, I wish I cared enough to bet.
Yeah, I will bet $1,000 on it. I'm
hoping both of them lose. If somehow they could both lose, that would be ideal for me.
The entire Notre Dame stadium just collapses in on itself, and then there is no Notre Dame or Ohio State for the rest of the season.
Oh man, Notre Dame will not be favored. That's what Mello says. It'd have to be a pick.
Well, actually,
damn close.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I think it's gonna be even money, or
either man, $1,000 isn't gonna win you a lot of money, man. Especially if you guys are favored. Don't do it.
I could also bet the over on points too.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I could bet the over. I could bet touchdown passes by Sam Hartman because that's going to be over 5. I'll do the over on interceptions for whoever the quarterback is for Ohio State. Probably be an over under 1.
That's disrespectful, by the way. If they have, and I do think they are favored, which is disrespectful. It's disrespectful.
Wait, they have Ohio State higher than you guys?
No, Mello just said we are now favored by 3, which makes sense because.
Wait, how is he getting that? Is that up?
I'm sure you guys bet betting odds are probably up there. Sly says I want both of them to lose. He's with me. If that could happen, that'd be great.
See, I wouldn't hope for that for you.
You wouldn't hope. I'm getting a call. Hold on, give me 1 sec.
All right. So I'm pulling it up. Let's see. Oh, that's from last year. What? That doesn't make any sense. Why this is even up here. Let's see. Odds. Let's see. Yeah, I can't find anything. I don't know where you guys found that at. Betting lines. Okay. So this was months ago. But
all right.
So this was months ago, so I don't know if this is updated. But I believe this was before Notre Dame got Sam Hartman. The odds are Ohio State's favored by 8.5.
Really?
Yeah, but that was before Notre Dame got Sam Hartman. So I'm sure they've changed. But also in the same article, they said that Ohio State was also favored by 8.5 against Michigan last year.
So look, if they are favored by 8.5, then I would do the $1,000 bet.
Yeah,
in a heartbeat. That is definitely worth it. Why do we care what the odds are for a November game now? That's fair.
What do you mean? Notre Dame and Ohio State is
No, I think he was talking about the
Michigan one.
Yeah. Outcome games. They come out before
Last
That's
season opened
true.
up. Yeah. So the odds are for Ohio State is plus 750 for winning the Natty.
Yeah, he was talking about.
Hey,
Michigan.
Seth, you're my bro, man. He said ND will beat Ohio. Ohio's weak as hell. They're about participation trophies over there.
They do want like the cute look. Their argument was, "Oh, we played Georgia closer than everyone." So you lost, and your kicker embarrassed himself. I don't know, man. Don't.
Well, we got to get into our hot takes.
Really yes, quick. Let's get into those hot. Oh,
I already gave my one. I already gave one. So
Notre Dame beating Ohio State. Notre Dame beating Ohio State is a hot take. All right. I gave one as well. That was Ronnie Bell will be I'm sorry, not Ronnie Bell. If Ronnie Bell's a 1,000-yard receiver, that would be interesting. Jesus, his name is escaping me now. Roman Wilson, 1,000-yard receiver for Michigan this year. Hot take number one for me. I'll go for hot take number two first. Hot take number two. Michigan has 2 1,000-yard running backs this season. Ooh. They were 9 yards away from it happening last year.
You think they run the same amount they did last year?
I don't think they run the same amount, but
you'd have to break off a ton of huge runs.
Yeah, and I think we are capable of that for sure.
Okay, so I'll go with my number two. Audric Estime will be an 1,000-yard rusher.
That's not a hot take.
That is a hot take. He only had
he's getting all the carries.
He had 800 last year, while splitting the backfield with another 900-yard rusher.
That is not a hot take, but I'll let you slide on it. What's number three? Go ahead with your
number three. Tobias Merriweather will have over 1,000 yards receiving for Notre Dame.
Okay. Hot take number three for me. Michigan goes into the game undefeated. 1,000 game winners. The first 1,000 game winner in the history of the NCAA, or in the history of NCAA football, and the 1,001st win will be against those guys from Columbus. Okay. Undefeated regular season, 2 years straight for Michigan.
Sam Hartman. So this is my number four. Sam Hartman will throw for over 3,500 yards at Notre Dame.
Mike said these are gimmies. Hot take for Mello is Hartman throws 3 picks against LSU.
My other hot take is for that same thing is that Hartman throws for 5 touchdown passes against Ohio State.
Stop it.
No. So go ahead with your number 5, Phil.
Number 4.
Oh, you're number 4? Okay.
Number 4, right? All right. Hot take number 4. And this probably is not going to come as a surprise, but J.J. McCarthy is in New York for the Heisman ceremony at the end of the season.
See, I was going to do the same thing, but for Sam Hartman. But I'll go even further. So this is my hot take. This is my final one. Sam Hartman will finish the year as a Heisman candidate, leading Notre Dame to 11-1 record, to the college football playoff. And my playoff right now is number 1, Tennessee, 2, Michigan, 3, Oregon, 4, Notre Dame. So that would be a Michigan-Notre Dame playoff semifinal.
That would be massive. I watched Irish Breakdown the other day, and they thought that other teams playing Notre Dame in a college football playoff would be bigger games than Michigan because of the Midwest, thing. And I agree with you, actually. Those are 2 of the most watched teams in the sport. And a game between them would break all kinds of TV and streaming records, in my opinion.
So Ken asked if he will be in New York. Yes, he'll be in New York. That's what I mean by Heisman
Yeah.
candidate. And Notre Dame will beat Michigan to go to the Natty, led by Sam Hartman.
I want you to
It'll be a
stop it.
close game. Notre Dame will win on a last-second field goal. And Notre Dame will play Tennessee for the national championship.
Tennessee?
Yep. And probably will get absolutely ran by Tennessee in the
First of
national
all,
championship.
Couple things here. Couple things to talk through. There's a couple things. First, you're not beating Michigan. Let's start.
Yeah,
there.
we are. Yes, we are.
Second, if that guy takes Tennessee to the Natty, and by that guy, I mean the quarterback,
Joe Milton.
Oh my God, I'm not gonna say that because that's probably like a terroristic threat. But the meltdown that I will have on the Maze Madman show, I'll go live. If Joe Milton leads them to a Natty,
well, you know what,
over.
Phil? I'm going to say this right now. I'll say it live. If Notre Dame, Michigan, and Oregon make the college football playoff, you, me, Lucas, and the Week Zero podcast, we are flying out and we are going. We are going. If all three of those,
there's no doubt about it.
Oh, for sure, we are going.
Did you have Oregon in? You had Oregon in there?
Yeah, I have Oregon in there. I think Oregon wins the Pac-12. I think they finished like 12-1. Michigan goes 13-0. Tennessee goes 13-0. Notre Dame goes 11-1.
So, this might. I think Milton has a chance. Cade, no.
Well, way. Milton definitely, just because of the style of offense he plays.
Yeah. That's what I'm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so my final hot take is that Michigan wins the national championship.
Okay.
Ideally against Georgia. That would be ideal.
Well, you wouldn't
we owe them some get back. You said what?
You wouldn't like to win it against Notre Dame?
Oh, no, I'd love to win against Notre Dame. I'm just saying this is just a recency bias, right? We owe them some get back.
You hate Georgia?
We got to get them. I don't really hate them. I just they are.
You guys better be careful about that because whoever you guys play in the semifinal, you can't be overlooking them like you did TCU.
Yeah, and I do feel like we fell victim to that a little bit against TCU. And all due respect to TCU, they came out, hit us in the mouth. We had to recover, and then we just didn't have enough time. I don't think we lost that game. We just ran out of time.
You need to give me credit for that, Phil, because I remember texting you when they did the selection show for the playoff, and they were you know how they interview each team and players. And
Mello, this might be the truest thing you've said on here today. I agree that we are not built to beat Georgia as currently constructed. That being said, though, that's why I want them in that game, because all the advantages right now look like they're in their favor. But go ahead, Brian. I'm sorry.
You need to give me some credit, because I remember when we were watching the selection show, I messaged you because I heard they were interviewing Michigan players. I believe who was it? Was it I think it was JJ McCarthy.
Okay.
And they were interviewing him about playing TCU, and the first thing he mentioned was Georgia. Yeah. And he's talking about getting, we want payback against Georgia for what they did to us last year. And I'm like, okay, you guys are losing against TCU. I vividly remember sending you a text.
No, I remember.
And I said,
well, it wasn't
and I
a
said,
text.
And I said,
yeah. DM.
And I said, dude, you guys are losing to TCU. You guys are thinking too far ahead. Your mindset was on Georgia. And lo and behold, I was right.
So, yes, as I pointed out, we were overlooking them to some degree, and they came out with a good game plan, and they hit us in the mouth, like I said. And we just ran out of time. We ran out of time. We didn't lose. We ran out of time.
You also the Roman Wilson's butt was not in the end.
That was a touchdown. That was a touchdown. That was certainly
a ball touchdown. Was not up across the line.
Stop it. I want you to stop right now. You say wild things sometimes, and this is one of them.
See, Mello agrees with me. Mello said facts.
No, yeah. that's been up there. That was up there already.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
That was certainly a touchdown.
That was not a touchdown.
Stevie Wonder could see that was a touchdown, as Mike Fort said.
Hold on. We got to pull up the picture. I got
get the picture, man. Because and just for that, No, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna go there because I definitely don't want.
Hey, you know what?
the
We
other-
did get
I
a,
do.
we got a
Drew,
stimulus package
Drew,
against
and
Cal.
Mello, do not try to skip out on this bet if you guys lose that
Exactly.
game. And you, sir, you shouldn't have done this. I'm gonna say that, and you better be here in that Brutus costume as well.
See, look, he was not. This is like right down the line. In my opinion, he was not in. This is. I'm seeing this. Like, hold on. Can you screen share?
Yeah.
This is not. This was not a touchdown. All right, pull it up. Look where his knee is down.
He hasn't caught the ball yet.
His ball is in his hand.
His ball
is in his hand.
He has not caught the ball yet.
Okay, here we go.
Right here,
even better.
He's in there. Touchdown.
The ball looks over the line, like looks not across the line.
It's a touchdown, man.
Let's see.
Mello said he's going to hold up his end of the bet.
All right.
Drew said he doesn't have to skip out because it's not happening. He was in. Thank you, Ken. That was a touchdown. I don't know where these angles came from because he was never that far away from the goal line.
That's the picture.
That's a terrible.
What are you trying to say? They photoshopped it.
That's certainly Photoshop. And Haskins didn't get the first down either in 2016. So there's that.
Oh, he definitely didn't.
He definitely didn't. Right. Anyway, guys, we got to thank you guys for joining us for another episode 18 of the Maize Blue and Gold Show. We will be back next week. Maybe Ryan commits himself to something else ill-advised. You never know.
Wait, really quick, Phil. We are doing post-game shows, right?
Yes.
This is going to be
doing post-game shows. Yes. It's gonna be a great time. You shouldn't have done this, by the way, though. I stand by that.
Hey, it'll give you great content either way.
Darren Price, rookie superstar. Jeremiah, oh my God. We don't know if Jeremiah Love's a superstar. Can't just say that. Go Blue. Till next time, stay angry, my friends. I'm upset.